December 18th, 2025. The night air was thick with tension, as if the world itself was holding its breath. Outside, the wind howled and the rain fell in relentless sheets, drumming against rooftops and windows with a fury that seemed almost personal. A violent storm battered a quiet suburb, rain and wind rattling every window. Trees bent under the force, and the streets shimmered with water, empty except for the occasional flash of headlights hurrying home. In the midst of the chaos, a sudden bolt of lightning revealed a small, desperate figure clinging to a power pole. Brooks, a house cat, soaked and terrified. His fur plastered to his body, eyes wide with fear, he clung to the slick metal, every muscle tense. Each gust threatened to send him tumbling, his world reduced to cold, rain, and dizzying height. The pole swayed, and Brooks dug his claws in deeper, desperate to hold on. The storm was merciless, and the ground below seemed impossibly far away. Inside, his family called for him, their worry growing as every room turned up empty. Panic set in as they searched under beds, behind doors, and in every shadowy corner, their voices rising above the storm's roar. The storm outside was no place for a curious cat, and dread crept in. The family pressed their faces to the glass, hoping for a glimpse of their beloved pet, hearts pounding with fear and regret. As word spread, neighbors gathered in the rain, umbrellas blooming like flowers in the darkness. The community, drawn together by worry and compassion, began to search, calling out into the storm, determined not to leave anyone behind. Brooks, high above the world, had no idea his ordeal would inspire so many. Alone and trembling, he could not know that his struggle would soon become a symbol of hope and unity for everyone below. His lonely vigil was just the first chapter in a rescue no one would forget. A story of courage, kindness, and the unbreakable bond between a pet and the people who love him. Brooks was the king of his castle, pampered, adored, and endlessly curious. But that curiosity was his undoing. A gust blew the back door ajar, and he slipped into the storm. The world outside was wild, the scents unfamiliar, the thunder terrifying. Seeking safety, Brooks spotted the power pole and climbed, higher and higher, away from the chaos below. At the top, surrounded by wires and rain, he realized his mistake. Going up was easy, but getting down was impossible. Trapped, soaked, and alone, Brooks became a tiny king exiled from his kingdom. The storm raged on, and his adventure had turned into a nightmare. The rescue had yet to begin. The first day was frantic. Searches, calls, and growing panic. The family scoured every corner of the neighborhood, their voices echoing through the rain-soaked streets as they called out for Brooks. Every shadow seemed like it could be him. Every rustle of leaves brought a flicker of hope, only to be dashed by silence. The hours dragged on, and the sense of dread grew heavier with each passing moment. Only when a neighbor looked up did they spot Brooks, a tiny silhouette atop the pole. It was almost unbelievable. There he was, high above the ground, clinging to the cold metal, his eyes wide with fear. Relief washed over everyone, but it was quickly replaced by a new kind of worry. Relief turned to terror. He was alive, but unreachable. The family's joy at finding him was overshadowed by the realization that Brooks was stranded, with no way down. Every attempt to coax him was met with desperate meows and trembling paws. 5 days passed in agony. Rain and wind battered Brooks, while his family tried everything: calling, treats, prayers. Each night they stood beneath the pole, hoping he'd find the courage to climb down. But the storm only made things worse. The sight of their beloved cat shivering in the cold was almost too much to bear. The community rallied, bringing chairs, blankets, and hope to the base of the pole. Neighbors took turns keeping watch, offering comfort and support to the family. Strangers became friends, united by a shared mission to bring Brooks home safely. Social media exploded with updates, and soon, people everywhere were invested in Brooks's fate. Messages of encouragement poured in from across the city and beyond, as the story of the stranded cat touched hearts far and wide. News crews arrived, and the little cat became a symbol of resilience. Cameras captured every moment, and the world watched as hope and worry mingled in the faces of those below. Each day the danger grew: dehydration, starvation, exposure. Brooks's strength was fading, and the urgency to save him became more desperate with every passing hour. The question haunted everyone: how could they save him before it was too late? The family clung to hope, refusing to give up, as the community searched for a miracle. The power pole became an unlikely community hub, drawing neighbors out of their homes and into the storm. As the rain fell, people who had once only exchanged polite nods now found themselves standing shoulder to shoulder, united by a shared purpose. Neighbors who'd barely spoken before now stood together, binoculars in hand, scanning the pole and sharing stories, laughter, and support. The crisis broke down barriers, turning strangers into friends as they comforted one another and brainstormed ways to help. Children, inspired by the drama unfolding outside their windows, taped colorful drawings to fences, messages of hope and encouragement for Brooks and the rescuers. Their creativity brought smiles to worried faces and reminded everyone of the innocence at the heart of the ordeal. A retired engineer, determined to help, even tried to rig a makeshift rescue basket, using his skills to improvise solutions and inspire others to pitch in with ideas and tools. Online, thousands followed Brooks's story in real time, offering advice, sharing updates, and rallying resources from afar. The rescue effort quickly went viral, drawing attention and support from people across the city and beyond. When the utility company hesitated, public outcry surged. Neighbors organized, held signs, and made calls, their collective voice pushing the company to finally take action and prioritize the rescue. The crisis brought out the best in everyone: compassion, creativity, and unity. People shared umbrellas, hot drinks, and words of encouragement, forging bonds that would last long after the storm had passed. Saving Brooks became more than just a rescue. It was a testament to the power of community spirit. The cheers and tears that followed the rescue were about more than relief. They were about pride in what they'd accomplished together. In a disconnected world, this little cat brought people together, reminding everyone of the strength found in unity and kindness. The vigil was about more than a cat. It was about hope, kindness, and the value of every life. In the glow of candlelight, neighbors realized they were no longer strangers, but a true community. On the fifth day, utility trucks arrived, their lights flashing, a signal that help was finally here. The plan: shut down the power grid, ensure safety, and bring Brooks down. The neighborhood held its breath as a worker suited up and entered the cherry picker. The hydraulic arm lifted him skyward, every eye fixed on the tiny cat above. Brooks, terrified, clung to the pole as the rescuer approached. The world seemed to shrink to that single moment, man and cat, 60 feet in the air. The family watched, hope and fear mingling. The crowd was silent, waiting for a miracle. Brooks's fate rested in the hands of one gentle hero. The rescuer moved slowly, speaking softly to calm Brooks. He offered a gloved hand, letting Brooks sniff and decide. After a tense pause, Brooks leaned in, rubbing his cheek, a sign of trust. Relief swept through the crowd below. Gently, the rescuer scooped Brooks into a carrier and signaled success. Applause and cheers erupted as the bucket descended. On the ground, Brooks was reunited with his family. Tears, hugs, and overwhelming gratitude. The rescuer, humble, simply smiled, happy to help. The neighborhood celebrated, united by a happy ending they'd all helped create. The family rushed Brooks to the vet, dehydrated, exhausted, but miraculously unharmed. Back home, he was pampered like royalty, never far from a loving hand. His purr, weak at first, soon filled the house with joy. Brooks slowly returned to his old self, but stayed closer to his family than ever. The neighborhood celebrated, their bond forever strengthened by the ordeal. Brooks's story became a reminder of hope, resilience, and the power of community. Let's cherish our furry friends, support animal rescues, and remember, every life matters. For every Brooks, there are countless others waiting for their own happy ending.